Tuesday, the 18th of June 2024. Racing will take place at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, where there is a very, very competitive 9-race program that awaits, but an exciting one at that. And with me in studio to go through these races is my good friend and colleague, Graham Hawkins. Graham, how are you today?
I'm all good, thank you, Warren. Yes, another very competitive card, and I think we just need to highlight that whereas we normally record 24 hours in advance of the race meeting because of the long weekend and racing at Scottsville on the Monday, etc., we are recording somewhat earlier than usual. So punters need to check their card for changes, etc.
Absolutely, well mentioned, and a huge point to take note of. Early recording of the show, scratchings, jockey changes, betting moves, equipment, all those things. Please make sure you check those, and we'll remind you through the show because this is an extra early recording. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The first race of the day is the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth Welcomes You Maiden Juvenile Plate for fillies over 1,000 metres, where there are 12 runners going to post. And Graham, I believe that the Candice Bass-Robinson stable will win the first and the second race. That's just an opinion. Number 12, Rockapina, the One World filly. One World's progeny are firing on all cylinders. Excellent debut, backed on debut, challenged all the way home, just didn't get there. I think she's going to be hard to beat. Number 11, Stu's Girl, the stable companion, is my value selection. And then interesting first time is number 1, Gold Splash, and 6, Lotus Island. But I believe whatever beats Rockapina will win.
Will be very hard to beat. When running second to Worldcraft, the balance were well behind. The form has not really been franked, but I'm expecting number 12, Rockapina, to do just that. Interestingly, One World is just one winner away from equaling his own sire's record of 22 individual juvenile winners, and therefore 2 away from breaking the record, and he could accomplish that at this race meeting. I'm certainly expecting One World to draw level with Captain L in this race. I don't think you can look past number 12, Rockapina. I do believe, as you've mentioned, that number 11, Stu's Girl's got plenty of scope for improvement. They are expecting a promising debut effort from number 10, Love Story, the pit stay stable. Greg Bort's the owner, and thus JP van der Merwe rides. But really, it's all about number 12, Rockapina. It is a 9-race program, so unfortunately, we can't bank her in any of the exotics, but I think the way to go is to play trifectas and quartets and make number 12, Rockapina, your clear first choice.
Okay, I agree with Graham. Our numbers are very similar, and Rockapina will be the start of, I'm sure, many trebles, all to comes, etc. Let us move on to the second race on the card at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, Tuesday. It's a race over 1,000 metres. It's the Cape Racing Sales Maiden Plate for maiden juveniles, obviously, 15 runners. And as I said at the top of the show, Graham, I believe that Candice Bass-Robinson can win the first and the second. And in the second race, she's got Summer Snow, the Water Winter gelding out of a Judpot mare for Arun Chada. Aldo rides, obviously, and improved every single time he's come to the races. Excellent last run behind Rattlesnake. Same comment as the first race. I believe whatever beats Summer Snow will win. I'm confident the first two, Candice Bass-Robinson.
She's got 2 problem attack in this race.
She's also
got number 12, Eco is first run as a gelding. But I'm in your camp. I'm not disagreeing with you in this race. Number 9, Summer Snow. Clearly, Aldo would have had the choice of rides, and he's opted to go with number 9, Summer Snow, over the stable companion, number 12, Eco. So that's a clear indication, I would imagine, that number 9, Summer Snow, is the stable elect. When running second to Rattlesnake, in the green zone was behind Summer Snow. In the green zone came out during the past week to frank that form, so the form has been franked on many fronts. Obviously, number 10, Billy Cool. That wasn't a bad third behind Talk to the Master. That was in a winner's race, so expect further improvement from number 10, Billy Cool. He's got a very nice female line, but we're on the same page. My top choice would be definitely number 9, Summer Snow. My suggested bet for the day is the bipot, and I'm happy to bank number 9, Summer Snow, in the opening leg of the bipot, as you will see a little later on. But yes, it does look as if Candice Bass-Robinson is going to get punters off to a really nice start.
Just one more to add for the second race before we move on to race 3. Number 1, Noble Hero, the Vercingetorix from the Des McLaughlin stable, is a stable that's bang in form, finished just over 4.5 lengths on debut. I'm expecting this colt to improve to be able to run into the quartets. But it's all about Summer Snow for Graham and I. no arguments so far. So let's move on to the third race. As the card gets progressively more and more competitive, I'm sure there'll be a few arguments later on. Let's go to the third race. A maiden juvenile played for fillies. This time they're going 1,400 metres. 25 past 1 is the off time. It is the first leg of the place accumulator. Obviously, the second race was the first leg of the bipot. Vaughan Marshall and Richard Ferrie, Graham, in the third race team up. And I had a look at their statistics in the official winning form. 61, their last 61 times they've been together. 14 winners, 10 seconds, 9 thirds. That's a 23% win and a 54% place. I mean, that's a phenomenal statistic, and I think they're just going to add an increase to those statistics because Pentalina, number 3, ran a very good race last time. I know there's a couple of them to that Dixieland band form line, but 3 Pentalina from me, from 6 Greenlight Sky, and then numbers 10 Cherry Sky and 11 One Giant Leap as the quartet values for third and fourth. But 3 Pentalina is my choice.
Yeah, it's got a bit to find with Greenlight Sky. They all ran behind Dixieland Band, as you've mentioned. Greenlight Sky ran second. Coral Blaze, in fact, ran third. Also finished ahead of Pentalina. They all 3 meet. On that basis, I think it is an absolute 3-cornered contest. But I'm also leaning towards number 3, Pentalina. Last time I had a bad draw. This time cracked a good draw. Richard Ferrie in the saddle. This could be where One World breaks Captain L's record. But the form book suggests that number 6, Greenlight Sky, is very much alive. Finished second behind Dixieland Band when Pentalina ran fourth. And Coral Blaze was even ahead of Pentalina on that occasion. And Coral Blaze also had a bad draw. Coral Blaze was drawn 11 out of 12 there. Pentalina was drawn 10 out of 12, whereas Greenlight Sky was drawn in pole position. So when they met last time out, Greenlight Sky definitely had the better draw. And for that reason, I think that Pentalina and Coral Blaze could overturn the result with number 6, Greenlight Sky. But I've gone 3, 6 and 4 as my top 3 selections. I've included numbers 3, Pentalina, and 6, Greenlight Sky in my bipot. And like you, I do believe that number 11, One Giant Leap, has scope for improvement, only its third start. So definitely one for the back end of trifectas and quartets.
The third race, so there we go. Possibly some boxed exactas could be the way to go. 3 Pentalina, 4 Coral Blaze, 6 Greenlight Sky, 3 and 6 Graham likes. He does agree with me with 3 Pentalina as well. So that looks to be a race where you could play some boxed exactas. Race 3. The fourth race is the Cape Turf Club Syndicate Open Maiden over 1,400, and the race will run at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock. Come Tuesday, and again at the time of recording, no scratchings, no jockey changes, no betting moves, no nothing. So we urge you, please check those before taking your final bets. This show has been recorded extra early. I believe, Graham, that Justin Snaith holds a very strong hand here. 4 Future Star, which is going to be my first choice, value first choice. I know that 6 Song to the Moon and 5 Gimme the Light on 4 may be stronger. But I like the lightly raced Future Star. Improved last time. Sean Veal gets the ride. He's been doing a lot of work, and in KZN has Sean Veal for the stable. Lovely to see him get a few chances down in the Cape. Lightweight. So he's my first choice, but not a good, strong fancy. She, rather, is my each way value, number 4, the Futura Future Star. But I believe Justin Snaith holds the key.
It does hold the key. I'm not in your camp on this occasion. It is an open maiden, though, over 1,400 metres. And, these races have a habit of producing upset results. And I've looked to see what could beat number 6, Song to the Moon. He's got 61 kilograms to shoulder. He has his third run since being gelded. I was on him last time, desperately unlucky not to beat Noonday Gun. He was flying under Sean Veal at the end. In my opinion, he should have won that day and therefore shouldn't have been eligible for this race. So for me, it's Song to the Moon or bust. I'm not going to argue with you what's going to run second, third or fourth, because I actually have no idea. In these open maidens, I generally also look to try and find some value amongst the lighter weights, because that's been the nature of some of the results of these open maidens. But although he's got 61 on his back, I'm very, very firmly in the camp of number 6, Song to the Moon. He should have won last time. His form since being gelded is good. And really the balance don't add up to much. Yes, of course, the stable companions Future Star and Give Me the Limelight can improve and should be there and thereabouts. But I'm pinning all my hopes on Song to the Moon. For me, he's the nap of the day. He's another bipod banker for me, and I'm certainly going to banker him in the pick 6 as well. So it's Song to the Moon or bust.
Graham, just one more to ask you about in the fourth race. Number 13, Look Forward, is been taking on winners this filly in her last couple of starts. She's back in maiden company. I know she's having her 22nd bite at the cherry, so she's clearly a little limited. Her rating is 56. It's there for all to see. Would you put her into your quartet and trifecta?
Well, she's in fact my second choice.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for the fact that she's drawn 13 out of 13, I might have made her a greater or more significant danger to number 6, Song to the Moon, along with 4 and 5, Future Star and Give Me the Limelight. But Look Forward is in fact my second choice, because I'm sure from that draw with the low weight of 52 and with Josh Solomons in the irons, that Look Forward is going to go forward.
Yeah.
But that sets the race up nicely for Song to the Moon, in my opinion.
Okay, and just 2 more to add to your quartet's back end as improvers. 10 typically French and 12 Blame It On Me. They sort of, you can see in their form, getting a little closer each and every time. These are the horses you want to run fourth to help boost that payout. 10 typically French and 12 Blame It On Me. But that's the fourth race, a difficult race. It's an open maiden. And you can hear that Graham is big in the camp of Song to the Moon. I like a bit of value, Future Star. So again, some boxed exactors could be the way to go in race 4, which is, of course, the first leg of the Pick Six. Race 5 is the first leg of the jackpot, first jackpot, Champagne Syndicate Open Maiden. It's over 1950 this time, and the race will run, all things being equal, at 25 to 3, 14.35. Another very competitive but exciting race. And Graham, this is the kind of field that you want to structure a quartet and try and catch it. I don't know if you can catch it multiple times, but at least a good chunk of it, because if there's a jolt or two, which there could be, you could get dividends here.
This is a field race. I've got the field in the bipot, all of them, the whole lot. It is a really tough race. I mean, Jack in the Green jumps out at you, having run second in his last 2 starts, but they bumped up his merit rating from 68 to 77, so he's got a £9 penalty for having run second behind Aladdin's Lamp in a maiden. He comes back into an open maiden. There are many with lighter weights. There are many with reasonable form. None of them with good form. None of them with good form. All of them with reasonable form. And quite frankly, when I looked through this race, I thought, well, I can try and unpack it as best as I can, but I'm not going to be of any help here whatsoever. I'm bankering Song to the Moon in the first leg of the Pick Six. I'm bankering Song to the Moon in the bipot. This race, I'm taking no chances. I'm expecting any kind of a race. Short and sweet from me. I'm not even going to tender a selection. There are many that have winning claims. I've highlighted 12 of the 15 runners, so good luck, guys. I'm out in this race.
There we go from Graham, the fifth race field. And as we mentioned at the top of the race, in the opening race, at the opening, it's a quartet race if you can structure it correctly, because you could get a dividend here. Or, as racing would have it, the first 4 favourites could run first, second, third and fourth, and you don't get a dividend, but that's racing. Field for Graham, he's not giving a selection. I will just bring to the table that I agree with him, very competitive. Maybe number 6, Etoile Filante, as in each way. He's been fairly good to me, place betting wise, has Etoile Filante, and I think one of these days he'll win his maiden. Whether it's on Tuesday, that remains to be seen. So let's move along to the 6th race, which is a Class 4 event. It's for fillies over 1,800 metres, and the race runs at 10 past 3. It's the perfectly placed Class 4 race. And Graham, numbers for me in no particular order. 9, Plum Pudding, brings and boasts very consistent and useful form. The daughter of Silvano for the Nell stable. 4, Among the Clouds for Justin and Richard. Ignore that last run when Overreach left in front. Penultimate start was an excellent run when a little unlucky, I thought, not to win. The Grey filly for Nick Johnson. And then number 6, Basic Manoeuvres, never far off them. Really is a strong contender on consistent recent form. So 9, 4, 6, 4, 6, 9, those are my 3 numbers.
Well, we agree with number 9, Plum Pudding. I thought that her effort was a little late in coming last time out. She was progressing nicely through the field. She's holding her form well. She ran second behind Could It Be. So she's got Basic Manoeuvres, Heliotrope, Green Isle, Lickety Split, Summer Night City, Born Ready and Catalea all behind her on that run. But not behind her was, of course, Could It Be. And I think Could It Be has turned the corner. You know, in the last couple of runs, she's run well. There's been money for her in both of her last 2 starts. Penultimate starts from 14 to 1 into 11 to 2. She ran well. Last time out from 10 to 1 to 7 to 1 when Plum Pudding was all the rage, and she came through to win. But as I say, Plum Pudding was making steady progress from the rear of the field. So Plum Pudding and Could It Be remain my top 2 choices, and I'm going to take my chances in this race and narrow it down to a match in 3. My third choice would be number 7, Eternal Optimist, who was not too far behind Plum Pudding in a penultimate start with 52 on the back. So we've got Plum Pudding with 60.5. We've got Could It Be with 57.5. Amongst the lightweights, I'm rowing in with number 7, Eternal Optimist. As we know, the track has softened up a little bit. There's no rain forecast for this meeting, so the going will improve from what it was last week. But that being said, the sting is out of the ground, and that's going to turn the form of some of these runners around, particularly one that I fancy at a big price in the last race. But I'm going 9-5-7. But yes, you've mentioned Among the Clouds and Basic Manoeuvres. Clearly they have chances. I've followed Summer Night City for too long now, so I've given up on Summer Night City, which is probably just what she's been waiting for to find the winner's enclosure, waiting for me to get off her back, and I'm off her back on this occasion. So for me, it's 9, 5, and 7. I do think, though, that Plum Pudding is worthy of being the top choice in the race.
I agree with you. So although our second and third choices don't match and don't marry, our first choice certainly does. 9 Plum Pudding. Beautiful filly by Silvana, as I said, and she's just doing the stable and the team so proud. That's the 6th race. Then let's go along to the 7th race, which is the Taking the Reins Class 5 event, 14 runners over 1,400 metres. And Taking the Reins, lovely podcast done with Vicky Minot and Anthony Delpesh just the other day. Take a look at that. But the 7th race, Graham, bit of value. I say value, we haven't got the betting, as we mentioned to the punters at the time of recording, but I'd like your opinion. Maybe you give it no chance. Maybe it's your first choice. I don't know. Horse number 10, Fly to Rio. I know's drawn a bit awkwardly, gets Grant van Niekerk for Greg Inion. Greg Inion's horses are in such a good space at the moment. His yard is really ticking over nicely. 4 times course and distance winner, this horse Fly to Rio. By no means a good thing, but if she had to win, I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked. I think I'm chairman of the Fly to Rio fan club. She's done me really proud. When she's won at big prices, I've been on her. I've been a little disappointed with her most recent efforts. I'm going to give her a miss this time. So take the double Summer Night City and Fly to Rio.
Don't be silly.
But on a serious note, I'm very strongly in the camp of number 5, Spirits Unite. I think the signs are there that he's ready to win. They've always thought a little bit of him. It's taken him a while to get his act together, and I don't want to overrate his chances, but I like the way he finished off his race, went 3rd to Steadfast, then he was 3rd to Kelp Forest.
Who's won
Kelp
again.
Forest came out to win very strongly again. Gold Index, though, was not too far behind Spirits Unite then, and Gold Index in his previous run had run 2nd to Green Mandarin, who's now completed a hat-trick of wins. So those form lines are for me pretty strong. They're both nicely drawn, 5 Spirits Unite and 6 Gold Index, so I give them big chances. But my first choice is definitely number 5 Spirits Unite. I'm not ignoring completely number 10 Fly to Rio. As I said, if she was to pop up here, Grant van Niekerk wrote a hat-trick in the week. Greg Inion had a hat-trick in the week. So yes, they're both in very good form. Like the Clappers, what you see is what you get. On the 21st of May, in fact, he was 2nd, when Spirits Unite was 3rd and Goldings were 4th, but he's drawn out in gate 12. But he'll make his presence felt. They'll probably go forward with Like the Clappers, so that form could well hold up. But I'm going to row in with number 5, Spirits Unite.
What do you make of the 2-year-old colt by Global View, number 13, Bank Street, who won it the 3rd time of asking? And talking of informed stables, Vaughan Stables also in form.
Very much so, and Ashton Aries has been doing really well. I just think that from a wide draw of 13, first run into open handicap company, I'm happy to sit on the fence. 13
Bank Street, yep, it is not going to be easy for Bank Street. But Graham is in the camp of 5 Spirits Unite. From the 6 Gold Index and 1 or 2 others that we've mentioned, and my each way play value, as I said, we're not sure of the price, but I'm sure it will be of a fairly decent price. Number 10 Fly to Rio each way. The 8th race, it's the penultimate event. There's 2 more to go, races 8 and 9. The 8th race is the Race Cape Hollywoodbets Class 4 for fillies and mares, 1,400 metres, 9 runners. And the race runs at 4. The 9 runners, Glee Club, Black Path, Charlene, Go Like Flow, Red Moon Rising, Mia's Harper, Captain's Destiny, Kawakazi and Little Miss Pink. Those are the 9 that will face the starter. Talking about Greg Enyon and his stable, Gate 1 should have a lovely smooth run in transit. Glee Club for J.P. van der Merwe for Wilgeborgsdrift. I know it's been 40 weeks since her last run, but my, she's banging and banging loudly at the door to get into the winner's box.
Yeah, I think this is a very evenly matched Class 4 handicap over 1,400 metres. I've singled out 4 runners. Does that make any sense? I've singled out 4 runners. I've reduced the list of potential winners.
4 runners. It's
4
okay.
runners. No surprises I'm expecting. 1 Glee Club, 4 Go Like Flow, 6 Mia's Harper and 8 Kawakazi. Forget about Kawakazi's last run. That was in a feature race. She comes back into the same division where she beat Glee Club. So there shouldn't be too much to choose between them. On a line of form, there's not much separating Kawakazi and Go Like Flow. Mia's Harper, she's been very costly to follow. But when she won her maiden, she won it in bottomless ground. She's going to appreciate the fact that the sting is coming out of the ground. She showed signs of life when third to Great Cat. She steps up to the 1,400 metres again. She didn't feature in a penultimate start when she was only 8th behind Call Me Jetrix. But maybe the going is not soft enough yet for Mia's Harper. I made that same comment about Solar Power last week, but he didn't disgrace me. He ran third. He loves the ground soft. So Mia's Harper's got to go in because, as I said, although the big rains haven't come and there's no rain forecast, there's no doubt that the sting is out of the ground and she should go well. So 1, 4, 6 and 8. Order of preference, I'd go with Go Like Flow ahead of Mia's Harper, 1 Glee Club and 8 Kawakazi. But as I said, they're very evenly matched. And in terms of all of my exotic bets play, I'm not going to try and split them.
That's good advice from Graham for the 8th race. 4, 6, 1, 8, his numbers in that order. Excuse me, I'm 1, 4, 6 in that order. So very much the same, similar. And those are the numbers to play for race 8. The suggested numbers, rather. You, the valued punter, will make the final decision. The 9th final race is the Hollywoodbets Bright Future, 1,200 metres. So they're up the straight, of course. It's a Class 4, a big field, Graham, of 15 runners. At 5 o'clock, top of the hour, is when the race will run. Wow, that race earlier on where you've put the field, it was that kind of race, and for me this was the second most competitive race, number 9, at least race 9, and I've got a value choice here who's really going to be at any price, I believe. Again, not a winning selection, a horse that I think could be worth a little few rand on for a place, who was once a 90 merit rated, down to a 70, second run only in the Cape, is number 1, Question of Faith. I say it faithfully because his form's not great at the moment, but new environment, new tracks, rating drop, I think he could maybe place.
I didn't know he was running, but I'll double check that now. So Question of Faith, I'll have another look. But my value bet as well comes in this race. Although the reason I checked the weather forecast, I was absolutely wishing it would rain some more.
Yes.
13 Berenberg. Now, you talked about a ratings drop, and Question of Faith has got that. So Berenberg around this time last year loves going in the wet. Look at his form when the track is soft. 4 starts for 3 seconds and a fourth, so for 3 seconds and a third. His rating is down from around this time last year when he was in the 90s to a 79. Last time out was a better effort. He definitely needs the sting out of the ground. And like I said last week when discussing Solar Power, maybe this run is one too early. Maybe it's not wet enough for him yet. But guys, watch Berenbergs through the winter. And I think 13 Berenberg is the potential upset result in this race. Having said that, All About L also likes it when the sting is out of the ground. Adam Marcus had a couple of winners during the course of last week. His horse is in a good space. He ran third behind Escarpment. The fact that the sting is coming out of the ground is going to help him. But if you like All About L, then you've got to like number 9 Escarpment. I thought it was a very workmanlike win. I thought it was a flashy win by number 9 Escarpment. I think he was full value for the win, but of course he beat Mighty Mac, who's in the race here as well, and Mighty Mac, Richard Faree takes the ride. So Escarpment, Mighty Mac, not too much to choose between them. That an upset can happen here, I'm not ruling out. It is one of those Very competitive Class 4 handicaps down the lane over 1,200 metres. Horses like Winter Pearl, Lunch Money, Prince of Tibet, Hoodia, maybe even a few others. There was a lot of money on Trippy Silk last time out. He found 1,000 metres too short for him. They backed him into 28 to 10. I didn't like Trippy Silk that day because of the fact that I felt 5 furlongs was going to be a little on the sharp side. He steps up to the 1,200. He could be far more effective here. So there are many with chances. I would certainly agree with you. I wouldn't even draw a line through Question of Faith. I'll sit on the fence with him. We'll see how he goes. There are many with chances. It's a competitive Class 4 handicap. I think you have to play it wide. But my suggested value bet for the day, I'm taking my chances that although more rain is not forecast, that Beerenberg is going to put up a really nice display, having had that enormous ratings drop over a course and distance that he's really done well over. He's done well over this course and distance, and he is a 3-time winner.
One other to touch on, that's how competitive it is. Horse number 8, Sooty, the Path 4 gelding. Ignore the last run when just walked out the pens and never really in it. His penultimate start, he ran very close up to Aspect, and Aspect's in the form of his life. So that run would give Sooty worthy of a mention. But the 9th race, you need to add, you're happy we can close the 9th? Happy and close.
It's very competitive.
Very competitive. I mean, we could sit here for another 10 minutes and talk about this field. But Graham's value selection is number 13, Beerenberg. And my lunatic value selection, these are the kind of races, and this is what makes it interesting. Question of Faith will either run in the first 3 or 4 and we get some cash, or it runs second to last. That's racing. But my value, 13 Graham's value, but a nightmare of a race. Load up as much as your budget will allow. I think that's a fair comment.
Absolutely, it's a fair comment, because those 1,200 metre Class 4 and Class 5 handicaps at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth can be very competitive. But as I mentioned, my suggested bet for the day is a buy pot, and I've also got a value bet, which we've already mentioned, but that'll be confirmed on the slide, which is now before you. So my buy pot, I'm not sure when last I included a field in the buy pot, but I've done that. But I banked number 9, Summer Snow, in the first leg, by 3 and 6 in the second leg, which is Pentadine and Greenlight Sky, by banker number 6, Song to the Moon. That's my in or out horse for the day, because I can't find anything to beat him, and he should have won last time out. Then the field in the 4th leg, which is race 5. Then 5, 7 and 9, Could It Be, Eternal Optimist, and Plum Pudding in the penultimate leg. I do think that Plum Pudding is the one to follow in that race. I'm going to take my chances for a 90 Rand suggested buy pot perm, full unit, by bankering number 5, Spirits Unite, in the last leg, but I do like a little bit of numbers 6 and 12 as backup, and of course we mentioned Fly to Rio. My value bet, just to reinforce it, race 9, the final race, each way play for the day, number 13, Beerenberg.
Lovely, Graham. We look forward to the feast of racing that awaits on Tuesday, the 18th of June. That is the 9 races for you. Punt well, stay safe, and we will see you, as always, from the number 1 box.